the watchmaker's Symphony Nissel in the heart of Ravenswood. In a corner, forgotten by time, stood Arthur Blackwood's watchmaking workshop. It was a place that radiated a strange and oppressive atmosphere, as if each tick-tock of the clocks held a whisper of ancient sorrows. The shop, filled with gears and pendulums, functioned as a sanctuary, where Arthur, with surgical precision, gave life and death to the machines of time. The arrival of young Clara to the town altered the course of events. Clara, an artist in search of inspiration, felt irresistibly drawn to the workshop. One rainy afternoon, she decided to cross the threshold of the shop, unaware that her curiosity would lead her into a spiral of nightmares. Arthur, with his icy gaze and soft voice, welcomed her like a puppet entering his world. "Welcome, Miss Clara. How may I assist you?" Clara felt a chill run down her spine, but she mustered the courage to inquire about an old pendulum clock she had seen in the window. "Ah, the clock of fate," said Arthur, with an enigmatic smile. "It is a unique piece, capable of influencing the perception of time of its owner. Would you like to see it more closely?" Clara nodded, unaware that each step she took towards the clock was a descent into her own perdition. Arthur led her to a hidden room behind a velvet curtain. The room was filled with antique clocks, each marking a different hour, creating a cacophony of ASIA tick-tocks that seemed to emanate a sinister melody. In the center, on an ebony pedestal, stood the clock of fate. "This clock," explained Arthur, "was created by a master watchmaker centuries ago. It has the power to reveal the deepest and darkest fears of whoever dares to gaze upon it, but beware once you do. The clock takes control of your mind." Clara, both fascinated and terrified, could not resist the temptation. She approached the clock and, with a sigh, fixed her gaze on the swinging pendulum. In an instant, her reality began to unravel. The walls of the workshop dissolved into shadows, and she found herself in a vast darkness, where only the echo of her breath and the tick-tock of the clock broke the silence. The visions began, first subtle, then intense and terrifying. She saw her mother, dead for years, standing before her. With empty eyes and a mouth open in a silent scream, she heard the cries of children, felt the cold grip of an invisible hand around her throat. Her senses were bombarded by images and sounds that existed only in her mind, but were as real as the ground beneath her feet. Arthur watched with sinister satisfaction as Clara succumbed to the power of the clock. He knew there was no turning back. The young woman was trapped in an endless cycle of terror, prey to her own fears and ghosts. Days, weeks, perhaps months passed. In Ravenswood, rumors spread about Clara's disappearance, but no one dared to ask. Arthur's workshop remained as busy as ever, with customers oblivious to the horrors hidden in its shadows. One night, a stranger arrived in town. Ethan, a paranormal investigator, had heard the stories of Ravenswood and decided to uncover its secrets. His search led him to Arthur's workshop, where he was greeted with the same chilly courtesy that had welcomed Clara. Ethan, however, was different. He had faced dark entities and knew the mind's tricks. Upon entering the room of clocks, he felt the presence of evil emanating from the clock of fate. Arthur, sensing his resistance, tried to dissuade him, but Ethan was determined. With a mix of courage and caution, Ethan fixed his gaze on the clock. The visions began, but unlike Clara, Ethan was prepared. With each horror the clock projected, Ethan responded with an inner strength that disarmed the clock's power. The battle between the clock and Ethan's mind was intense. Screams and whispers filled the room. Shadows danced on the walls. Only with a shout of defiance, Ethan broke the spell, throwing the clock to the ground where it shattered into pieces. Defeated, vanished into the darkness, his figure absorbed by the shadows. The shop, freed from its curse, filled with a soft, peaceful light. Clara, trapped in her mind, was freed, but was no longer the same. The horrors she had lived through had marked her forever. Ethan left Ravenswood knowing that his mission had brought peace, but also aware that evil always finds a new way to emerge. In his diary, he wrote about his encounter with Arthur Blackwood and the Clock of Fate, a warning to those who dare to explore the darkest confines of the human mind. And so Arthur's workshop remained empty, a silent reminder that some secrets are destined to remain in the shadows beyond the reach of human curiosity. Thanks for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and tell us what you thought of the video. And as always, be careful of what's around you.